Brick-and-mortar stores close one after another as mainland residents feel the economic chill. Black myth: Wukong censorship sparks discontent among players, top streamers push back. Beijing delivery rider kneels for over a minute, traffic police ignore him. Xi Jinping's 3 public appearances fail to quell rumors, experts say CCP's propaganda backfires. York Times attack Shen, Chinese Americans urge investigation into CCP spies. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Brick-and-mortar stores close one after another as mainland residents feel the economic chill. The Chinese economy is visibly weakening, with mainland residents bearing the brunt of falling property prices, unemployment, and mounting debt. Many are struggling to stay afloat while witnessing the mass closure of brick-and-mortar stores. Hefei-based blogger Nuomi recently captured footage showing numerous vacant storefronts along busy commercial streets, even at prime evening hours. A once bustling hotel has also shuttered due to economic pressures. She said, physical stores are closing en masse, unable to stay in business. It's unclear how shop owners will sustain themselves. Over the past 2 years, the number of physical stores has steadily decreased as economic conditions worsen. The streets are now empty, with few people out shopping. One by one, stores are being forced to close. Nuomi also noted that landlords, who once relied on rental income, are now facing difficulties as their investments sit vacant, with no tenants in sight due to the grim financial environment. In Guangzhou, some shop owners have turned to street vending for survival. Guangzhou-based blogger Nan observed a growing trend of street stalls offering affordable goods and food. High operating costs and reduced foot traffic have driven many out of traditional stores, making street vending a more viable option. Consumers themselves are increasingly preferring street stalls over established stores, driven by cost considerations. Hair salons are closing down in droves. Hebei-based social media commentator Lorenzia pointed out that a wave of closures has swept through hair salons, particularly in the past few months. After 3 challenging years under the pandemic, many individuals sought quick financial opportunities, with hairdressing seeming like a viable choice. The business required minimal startup capital, with just a small space, basic tools, and an initial investment ranging from 10,000 to 20,000 yuan, approximately $1,400 to $2,800. The simplicity of skills needed led many in their 30s and 40s to quickly learn the trade, offering low-cost services that became popular within communities. However, Lorenzia identifies 2 key reasons for the current wave of closures. First, haircut prices have surged. Over the past few years, rates jumped from 5 or 10 yuan to 30 yuan, about $4.21, making it unaffordable for many elderly customers. To cut costs, they now space out their visits, reducing their frequency from monthly to quarterly. Combined with oversaturation in the market, intense competition has driven many salons out of business. Second, the expansion of salon services has shifted focus to upscale offerings like beauty treatments, skin care, and hair care. These premium services cater less to the elderly, with simple haircuts now costing up to 100 yuan, about $14, and perms reaching 400 to 500 yuan, approximately $56 to $70. This pricing alienates traditional customers, leading to a shrinking client base that high-end salons struggle to sustain. In a related anecdote, Lorenzia shared how a friend purchased a 5,000 yuan VIP card at a beauty salon, about $701.34, only to later find the shop had closed with the owner disappearing. As even large salons face closures, many middle-aged and elderly people have resorted to buying haircutting tools online and managing their grooming at home. Who is suffering the most? Hainan-based blogger Chao Duiyu recently highlighted the severe struggles across industries, noting that the economic chill is felt by all. He emphasized that the bleak economic environment has left many feeling hopeless and pushed to their limits. Chao Duiyu identified key groups enduring the harshest conditions: those who have incurred losses in the housing market, especially buyers from 2015 to 2021 who are now stuck with homes worth far less than they paid, the unemployed, and most tragically, individuals caught in both situations while carrying high debt levels. In the current climate, survival feels as difficult as foraging in the depths of winter. Those burdened with mortgage payments, car loans, education fees, and elderly care costs are especially vulnerable, unable to wait for better days ahead. Black myth: Wukong censorship sparks discontent among players, top streamers push back. China's first AAA game developed by Game Science, Black Myth: Wukong, officially launched on August 20th. The game, inspired by the Chinese classic Journey to the West, offers a dark, reimagined narrative centered on the iconic character Sun Wukong. With high-quality graphics and innovative gameplay, it has captured widespread attention across the global gaming community. According to Chinese media, Black Myth: Wukong is one of the most expensive game projects in the country, with a budget surpassing 400 million yuan, approximately $56 million. The game's release drew massive interest, with over 1.5 million players engaging on Steam within hours, making it the platform's top-ranked game. However, censorship concerns have sparked upset among some players. Prominent YouTube gaming streamer and French journalist Benoit Renier revealed to the New York Times that he received a free game key from Hero Games, a common industry practice. However, along with the key came a document outlining forbidden topics for live streams, such as COVID-19, forced quarantine, feminism, and Chinese gaming policies. The document required streamers to agree to these guidelines in exchange for the key. Renier criticized the restrictions as forced self-censorship and opted not to stream the game, stating, "In my 15 years in this industry, I've never seen something so disgraceful. This is clearly a document telling us to self-censor." In contrast, some streamers deliberately defied the censorship. US streamer Moon, who has nearly 1.2 million followers on Twitch, went live on the game's release day with a provocative stream title referencing banned topics like Wuhan pneumonia, quarantine, Taiwan is a real country, feminist propaganda, attracting over 20,000 viewers on average. The launch of Black Myth: Wukong is being hailed as a milestone for China's gaming industry, signifying its entry into the global AAA market. State media Yangqing Evening News praised the game as both an industry success and a key achievement in China's cultural export strategy. However, some social media users have expressed dissatisfaction with the game's storyline. On August 20th, one ex-user at Toronto Bigface commented that after 10 hours of gameplay, they reached the ending, which featured surrender rather than the anticipated climactic battle against the gods. "If there's only one ending, then I retract any comments that there were no issues with the game's values. The ending was indeed disappointing, and so were its values." Despite its popularity in China, international gaming media reviews have been less favorable. Singtao Daily reported that while the game is trending in China, IGN rated it an 8, lower than the perfect score given by its Chinese branch. On Metacritic, the game averaged 81 out of 100 across 60 media outlets. Analysts suggest that the game's censorship and narrative choices may limit its future earnings. Data from Steam indicates that 95% of the game's 250,000 reviews are in simplified Chinese, with nearly 90% of purchases coming from mainland China. Beijing delivery rider kneels for over a minute, traffic police ignore him. China's grassroots face severe hardships, with delivery workers at the bottom of society drawing particular sympathy. Recently, a video surfaced from Beijing, capturing a Meituan delivery bike parked by the roadside. In the footage, a delivery worker in shorts is seen kneeling and bowing repeatedly, but the traffic officers continue with their inspections, ignoring him. The worker then stands, grabs one of the officers, kneels again, and continues bowing, only to be brushed aside as the officer walks away. Desperate, the worker follows, pleading. According to the video's source, the incident occurred in Beijing, where the delivery worker knelt and bowed for over a minute without receiving any response from the officers. The footage also shows numerous bicycles and electric scooters being stopped. Some riders were allowed to leave after brief checks, while others had their bikes seized, likely facing fines or confiscation. The source further reports that Beijing traffic police are currently focused on issuing fines as a revenue measure. In districts like Chaoyang, Haidian, and Fengtai, large numbers of enforcement personnel have been deployed to check vehicles. Late-night checkpoints are even set up along the second ring road for DUI, driving under the influence, inspections, causing significant traffic congestion. Delivery workers in China are often bound by strict time limits, facing platform penalties for delays. Vehicle seizures by police effectively cut off their livelihood. Consequently, videos frequently emerge online showing delivery workers bowing to police, with some resorting to self-harm or even extreme measures in protest, while others turn to violent resistance. These scenes consistently stir public sympathy for the plight of ordinary Chinese citizens, with many condemning the harsh system imposed by the CCP, which offers no path to survival for those at the bottom. Besides delivery workers, street vendors in China also face routine harassment from urban management officers, with similar videos frequently triggering public outcry. Xi Jinping's 3 public appearances fail to quell rumors. Experts say CCP's propaganda backfires. Amid widespread rumors of Xi Jinping's health issues and potential power struggles following the CCP's 3rd plenary session, Xi's 3 public appearances in a single day have failed to dispel doubts. Despite efforts to refute speculations of a stroke, house arrest, or a military coup, public suspicion remains strong due to growing discontent within China. Even after Xi met with the Italian Prime Minister and the President of East Timor on July 29, rumors persisted about the authenticity of Xi's appearances. Reports noted a significant reduction in media coverage of Xi in the following weeks. On August 19, Xi re-emerged to meet Vietnamese Communist Party General Secretary To Lam. However, Chinese state media initially released only distant footage, while Vietnamese media were the first to air close-up images of the meeting. It wasn't until later in the evening that Xinhua released detailed photos, including close-ups, which were quickly picked up by other major outlets. CCTV also broadcasted extensive footage later that evening, yet the unusual delay only fueled further speculation. The next day, Chinese state media switched to full-scale coverage, with CCTV dedicating 18 minutes to Xi's activities, including meetings with the Chinese Olympic delegation, Fijian Prime Minister Sitiveni Rabuka, and members of a developing country's parliamentary seminar. The coverage featured numerous close-ups of Xi, aiming to prove his vitality. However, Australia-based scholar Li Yuanhua told Sound of Hope that the delay in Xi's appearances was likely due to health issues. He speculated that Xi's condition might have improved just enough to meet the Vietnamese delegation, and that propaganda teams delayed releasing footage while trying to refine it. Li noted that Xi's appearance during the Olympic meeting seemed lackluster, with visible signs of illness. He added, even meeting with parliamentarians, something he usually wouldn't bother with, shows his need to assert control. Lai Jianping, chairman of the Canada-based Alliance for Democracy in China, suggested that the CCP might be conducting a public appearance test, using Xi's brief absence to gauge public reactions and identify any potential dissent. According to Lai, this tactic allows the regime to take preemptive action, ensuring that Xi's authority is unquestionable, even if he's temporarily absent. Meanwhile, rumors unfavorable to Xi, including reports of party elders presenting suggestions to him and discussions of the Beidei 8-point consensus, continue to circulate widely, despite a noticeable decrease in official coverage. On August 9, Zhang Youxia, the first vice-chairman of the Central Military Commission, published an article in People's Daily emphasizing loyalty to Xi Jinping's strong military ideology. This was interpreted as a clear show of allegiance. Similarly, on August 19, Miao Hua, director of the Central Military Commission's Political Work Department, reiterated the importance of Xi Jinping thought at a seminar commemorating Deng Xiaoping, which was also seen as a signal of loyalty within the military. Scholar Li Yuanhua believes that while the military's support for Xi indicates he remains in control, the persistence of rumors reveals widespread frustration with both the CCP and Xi. He further noted that CCP elders and Red elite families resent Xi's revival of Maoist tactics, as many of them suffered during the Cultural Revolution. While Xi seeks absolute authority, they fear that if his actions destabilize the party, their privileges and power could be at risk. Despite Xi's public appearances, the CCP remains on the brink of public unrest, and the rumors are unlikely to cease anytime soon. New York Times attacks Shenyun, Chinese Americans urge investigation into CCP spies. After the New York Times published several articles on August 16, 2024, targeting Shenyun Performing Arts, numerous overseas Chinese took to social media to express their condemnation. Many are urging the U.S. government to investigate the presence of Chinese Communist Party spies in the United States. Shenyun Performing Arts, founded by Falun Gong practitioners in 2006 in the United States, aims to revive traditional Chinese culture free from communist influence, with its headquarters in New York. On August 22, 2024, veteran self-media personality Lao Deng posted on X, stating, "The New York Times article against Falun Gong has profound implications, as the author is closely linked with the CCP." He mentioned receiving numerous insider tips and announced plans to expose the CCP's dark schemes in an upcoming program. On the same day, Lao Deng disclosed in a YouTube broadcast that he had learned of orders from the CCP's Ministry of Public Security directing a severe campaign against Shenyun and Falun Gong on social media. The directive includes disseminating slanderous information about Falun Gong to foreign media and manipulating related search engine results. Additionally, the ministry has activated CCP agents, particularly in the U.S., to spread false information about Falun Gong and Shenyun, aiming to sow discord and destabilize the groups internally. On August 17, Hu Liren, a former Chinese entrepreneur now residing in the U.S., voiced on X that the CCP's consistent tactics of fabricating lies and inverting truth have historically targeted various groups, including scholars and freedom seekers, with persecution stretching as far back as to ancient philosophers like Confucius and Mencius. Hu stated, "These malicious acts are now undeniable evidence of their nature." Thus, the vile communist actions against the Falun Gong community, involving slander and severe persecution, are to be expected. He further remarked on August 20, 2024, the New York Times collaboration with the malevolent communists in smearing the Falun Gong community abroad is assured. The FBI must rigorously investigate CCP infiltration within the New York Times. Hu also called for the public's assistance in compiling a list of New York Times editors and journalists who portray the CCP favorably, planning to submit this information to the FBI for a thorough investigation. Past reports have been questioned. On August 19, seasoned scholar and media expert Gu Bidong criticized the New York Times on X for their year-long investigation into Shenyun, which he dismissed as focusing on trivial issues. He remarked, "No school in America would struggle to write a report as lengthy, or perhaps even more detailed." Dong highlighted examples of the New York Times' previous coverage, including a 2020 article which labeled the U.S. travel ban on Wuhan as racially discriminatory against Chinese. He commented, "This perspective is even more distorted than the People's Daily." The Times has also been noted for articles praising socialism and the successes of the Communist Party. He shared, "I captured their coverage over a week. Monday criticized American imperialism, Tuesday targeted Trump, and over the weekend depicted the free world in disarray. Wednesday and Friday saw praises for the CCP, with Thursday featuring Xi Jinping's meeting with revolutionary masses. For pages that week wore red, all extolling the CCP and Xi Jinping. These can be viewed on my Facebook." He added that the Times harshly criticized universal values. On August 19, the Epoch Times featured interviews with several prominent New Yorkers and Chinese Americans. Among those interviewed were Eugene Zhan, former chairman of the Chinese Consolidated Benevolent Association, Hu Ping, a political commentator and honorary editor-in-chief of Beijing Spring, Wu Bentian, a New York-based writer and commentator for Taiwan Overseas Network, and practicing attorney Chen Chuang. All of them expressed strong criticism of the New York Times and voiced their support for Falun Gong and Shenyun. Sudden surge of anti-Falun Gong messages appears on social media. On August 16, 2024, the New York Times released several reports, just days after the Falun Dafa Information Center, FDIC, published a report titled Weaponizing Social Media, the CCP's New Plan to Eliminate Falun Gong Worldwide. The FDIC report uncovers the Chinese Communist Party's strategy to activate overseas agents, leveraging social media to manipulate public opinion and launch targeted attacks against Falun Gong and Shenyang performing arts. On August 22, 2024, the Epoch Times journalist observed a sudden surge in posts on X following the New York Times report targeting Shenyang. These posts, aimed at discrediting Shenyang, Falun Gong, and its founder, consisted of crude content, including images, texts, and videos, filled with abusive language and personal attacks, with an apparent intent to defame. Among the accounts involved were a few former Falun Gong practitioners and individuals like Wang Jian, who previously criticized Falun Gong. However, most accounts remained anonymous. Los Angeles pro-democracy leader and vice chair of the China Democratic Party, Xing Sunju, posted on X on August 18, "Today, I watched some videos from a few former Falun Gong practitioners. There's really no need to spend an hour discussing lofty principles. Putting aside their abandonment of so-called cultivation, our tradition values the idea that a gentleman ends a relationship without resorting to harsh words, and it emphasizes the respect between teachers and students. Their actions have already crossed the moral baseline of an ordinary person. It's shameful." It is noteworthy that as questions re-emerge over the New York Times' possible covert ties with the CCP, the U.S. has been stepping up its crackdown on CCP agents. On August 21, New York pro-democracy activist Tang Yuanjun was arrested and tried in Flushing, Queens for allegedly concealing his role as a CCP agent. In the past month alone, Los Angeles-based community leaders John Chen and Lin Feng pleaded guilty, Florida resident Li Ping was indicted, and New York pro-democracy activist Wang Shujun was convicted. All these individuals were accused of illegally acting as foreign agents for the CCP. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.